there is nobody else coming.
Okay.
As we discussed last week, we would do two things. Is we would have a look at the document and maybe add comments and changes, whatever. And at the same time, we would also check whether we would be inclined to do this kind of trial lab in our own environments, and what does it mean to us in doing that, or what is needed, or what is missing, or how does it look like. So what are your thoughts on these things? Because I don't see much comments except for a few from Rotan on the document, so...
I'm going into the document right now.
Sorry?
I'm opening the document right now.
Okay.
Maybe I can jump in first. My thought is that because you know that I'm noticing what people are doing these days worldwide, and also in Europe and in France too. I'm seeing that there are already many initiatives that help young people, and I can share that more precisely because, like for instance, with our common project with John and you, Arnold, for L4LL, we are now in list with a list. So what I'm doing, I'm also noticing what are the learning initiatives that people are putting in list, and I'm discovering and revisiting some initiatives worldwide in all the continents in the world, meaning America, Europe, Africa. There are many things for helping people. So I'll be glad to share that too. And again, for not reinventing the wheel. That's the point. Then the question is, who will be keen to also collaborate or cooperate with us?
But are you speaking about learning in general, or about what we said about young people?
Both. Because what I have, for instance, is different research is that there are networks of teachers. There are also initial platform for helping young people to develop their own talent, or to research work or doing entrepreneurship, for instance. So again, maybe we need to, I don't like this word, but classify that, and see what is relevant for you in your part of the world. For instance, I have a few Twitter handles who are based in Tijuana or in Mexico, so it might interest David, Pepe, and Jorge. Maybe you know these people, so
Okay.
I can put it in the chat or in the Google Doc.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm focused on Europe and France, but I have also other people that I'm noticing, or organization. Sorry, someone share something?
No, go ahead, Rotan.
No, I finished my thought, so please go
Okay.
jump in.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you. So, in essence, what you're saying is that what we're trying to do is not really very unique. You say it in a polite way, but I draw
it's
different.
not new, as we said. Yeah, not new, as we said. The fact that we may introduce a creation platform or failure school or try lab or other initiative for young people is not so new. Then it's how we position our initiative and how we try that with different audience, specific audience. Then of course there is also our approach that is emerging, I think. But I can share all my research.
No need. It's about the conclusion, and your conclusion is very clear. So let's stick to that at the moment. Yeah. No, thank you very much, David. You have to unmute yourself and. David, yeah, now you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes, so I saw a documentary I posted on the document. It's called Is the Man Who Stole Happy? It's very interesting and it gives a lot of interesting insight about the things we're trying to do. Because this guy starts talking about his education and how he received his education in the early years, and how his parents uh, gave him like the tools that he needed in order to learn. So it's a very interesting documentary. Hopefully you guys can take a look at it. It has an interesting ideas of the things that we could do. And he says something interesting that says the that with knowledge we need to be puzzled in with knowledge. Like when we start question things, that's when we start really learning and innovating. Otherwise, he says we're like just like a copy of another mind. So I think that's something we should be doing. Right now, I think that we should start to give a little more structure for what we're trying to do. I think Rotana is doing a great job, amazing job trying to do a research of all this stuff. But I think we need to start to give in more structure to what we're trying to do, like how many lessons, how many hours, what kind of lessons, what kind of knowledge we're trying to do. Uh, is it gonna be like a workshop? Is it gonna be like a boot camp? Or is it gonna be a weekend? Is it gonna be like I don't know. I think that will be something helpful so we can start going on, because I mean, as you said and as Rotana said, this is not something new or different. So we need to find that thing that is going to make us different and appealing
Yeah.
for the young people.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Do we understand, or do we have an idea what number one, what makes all these other initiatives different? Number two, what they suck at. Number three, what they're not looking at, what they're not what their reach has not been. Number four, you know, a basic SWOT analysis, if you want to call it that. Or even, I mean, I think the easiest way to look at it is at what point did they start, and if they started today, what would they do differently? And what they know.
Yeah, I understand, and I think we all understand. If I can jump in, we put on the Google Doc team, and at the end I put in blue journalist. As you all are, Rory and Arnold journalists, and myself, I'm starting to be one maybe. I don't know about you, David, but it looks like we can maybe take this approach, because we are reading a lot in the press and even in the education or learning field that people would like to do this interdisciplinary, correct pronunciation, but meaning that you can mix different fields and not be a specialist. But people don't really address that for young, especially for young people, I think. But of course, we have initiative like STEM or STEAM with the art, you know, the STEM. But again, how have we teachers or facilitators or trainers or whatever you want, coach, who are journalists who help young people? What do you think? Is it addressed these days, this issue of helping young people? We are journalists. We can do that, I think, too. Yeah, that's it. The unspecialist lab. I don't see this. Of course, you have these creative journalists that Arnold instigate few years ago, but how about trying the tri lab or whatever you want to call it for young people?
So that is where you say let's choose a certain focus area, and the focus area in this case is about being a generalist or an unspecialist, whatever name you give to it.
Yeah, but it's the approach, because we know that there are only specialists maybe in the world who take this approach of learning or training, whatever you want to call it, and they want people who are specialists, not so much journalists. And we know that, and we share that during the previous call too, that we would like to have people who express themselves, who are truly themselves, who can try what they want, starting a new shoe just for the love or the taste for that, without the pressure of failure or what you want. And I think journalists can enable that too, because you have wide experience, knowledge, and you connect the dots easily. And for you, it's okay to try and test many things in your DNA.
Oh, yeah,
And
I
I
can
think
understand
it comes,
that.
yeah,
Well, yeah, what my general feeling around this thing is what we have come up so far is okay, but it's not really very exciting. It's not something where I
yeah,
sit cheering in my chair and like, oh, we are working on such a great idea. Yeah,
yeah,
and like you said, there are many, well, maybe thousands of similar initiatives in different areas, and it doesn't matter how you call it, but it's really hard to differentiate. And the reason why I think is that what we're trying to do is not really game changing. It's not really. It's just an improvement. It's just something doing a little bit better or a little bit different. It's like,
yeah,
okay, but what would it like be if you do it better, like exponentially, like 200% better than what's now out there, or 10 times, or whatever? What would you do then? Yeah, so that is my personal feeling. And that is why. Well, I also know from John that he had the same problem and whatever. So and I can see it, because if we would have, I could also put it the other way. If we would all think that it's a super idea, then people would have written comments. Then they would have write extra text, and they would have some extra comment. But there's nothing. So for me, that's a sign like, it's okay, but it's not really worthwhile to put in the effort and do things like that. Yeah.
yeah, I understand, and I have the same feeling, yeah, yeah. But I have this at the same time the feeling as David shared that maybe we could try to have more structure to explore more. But again, as you said, there is no love of, I don't know, something a sweet spot for that. It can be tough to explore that together. So.
Yeah. Okay, but if we don't come up with it in this moment, that's also fine. Yeah. So it's.
Yeah, it's part of the.
So this is part of the process, but I think we should not try and push to something which will only be a few percent better than what's there, because then nobody will notice you.
Yeah,
What do you think,
yeah.
Jorge?
Yeah, I mean, basically for me it was the same thought. You know, the basic criteria that I use for really something that's really interesting is new, surprising, and radically useful.
Again, can you repeat that?
New, surprising, and radically useful. So, and the last one is radically with emphasis, not just useful. Anything can be useful. What we're talking about is really useful. It's not new, it's not surprising. But, you know, we could say, how to make it more radically useful, and then it becomes new and surprising. So that's where I was going with the questions. You know, if we already understand that this is happening, or there's similar, you know, ideas out there, you know, I think we can either, one, say how can we improve on that by 10 times, or two, rethink it and start from scratch, or three, you know, just you know, pick and choose a different angle. But that's really it. I mean, it's really as simple as that.
Yeah, that's why I say it's not so difficult. It just if yeah, you can push and squeeze, and then there's only so much options. Yeah.
But yeah, I fully agree with all of what you both share. But my feeling is that, and you know that maybe Jorge and Arnold, and maybe David too, because we are seeing a lot of blog posts on journalists, even book. Arnold just wrote a book on that, and I know in our own common network that we will We have also journalists who are writing books. But there is no school or no, I don't like the word school, but you know, a platform, a place where you can learn to be a journalist with practical, what is said last time, habits, you know, or I don't know, emergent practices. I'm not saying that. You learn that on your own or in networks, but informally, you know. There is no true journalist coach, or I would say something like this. What do you think?
I think it's a really interesting perspective, and obviously you're right, although some of the things like we shared last week, what they're trying to do in Finland with topic-based rather than subject-based things, yeah, I know that there are some universities who are trying to do that, but
Okay.
it is still rather limited. So it's not that it's not there, but it's very, very limited. So I tend to agree with what you're saying, and it could be a very interesting angle, especially for young people, because, well, we all know that it is hugely needed. Yeah, well, it's radically useful, yeah, or hugely needed, that people start to see the big picture and connect the dots, and we can keep on saying it, but that will not change it. So I like the idea, Rotana, of some kind of a way to help people learn that, but already at a young age, like Jorge and myself already did at a very young age, but it was not really intentionally, it was just because of our own interest. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of merit in it, in some kind of a connect the dots curriculum or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you spend time or you're doing project or whatever you want with journalists too. You know, that's how you learn to. That's how I am learned to be one with you and with other people. So it's like this, maybe.
I mean, imagine if, I mean, from a strategy perspective, what Rotana is saying makes entirely sense simply because nobody's connected those dots. You know, as you're saying, you know, for example, I can go into EDX and Coursera and all these other MOOCs and, you know, pick and choose whatever topics I want to use or learn. But at the end of the day, nobody really knows that I'm a generalist, and nobody gives a damn either. But if you connect the dots and say, you know, it's like going to NASA or going to the moon. You know, you come to our school, call it flight school or whatever the hell you want to call it, and you know, this is how you're gonna get to NASA and eventually gonna get to Mars. You know what I mean? Because only people who are fit to a certain degree to go to Mars are you know, going to this track. I mean, you don't want to be elitist, but you know, at the end of the day, it really is how it is sometimes. You know, you got to start with a small group, and then that group starts building off, and then, you know, start getting exciting, and then other people get interested in it. Eventually, you know, start breaking some barriers. But I think we have to look at it that way, as, you know, what's a generalist? Well, it's like going to NASA. It's like going back into the Renaissance or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, people are using this history and metaphor. Yeah, whatever you want. But yeah, and maybe people don't even use the word polymath or journalist. They use something else. But they are. They truly are. We live in a world of specialists, so that's why it's like this, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, in terms of differentiation, MOOCs and all these things are just like directories of content with some track in it. But it's pick your poison. I mean, it's just a directory. We can focus the topic and make it interesting. And I think that's really where the butter is how do we actually make it interesting? Because for us, you know, it's kind of common sense to you know, learn different things and all this stuff and just connect the dots. I mean, we can hit on. I mean, Arnold and I can hit on 30 different topics in 20 minutes.
Yeah. And farming, whatever you want.
It's nothing, right? Other people on the side are like, what the hell are they talking about? But
yeah.
You know, how do we make that interesting? How do we make that as something that other people want to? Oh shit, I want to do that too. You know, I want to fly to the moon.
Yeah.
You know, basically what I'm getting at is how do we make it How to make it something people want to strive for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the point. So we are also waiting the Pepe who will join, but I think he will share maybe the same point of view, meaning that there is something behind this journalist school, if we can frame like this, but I don't like this frame.
Yeah, but I would even like to take it a little bit further. I like the idea about flying, whatever. I think in order to be able to connect the dots, you need to not be inside of it, but you need to be above it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can only connect the dots if the material or the content or the specific topic, yeah, if you're not being influenced by that, because if you are, then you miss the whole point. Yeah, you only see it better at a higher level. Yeah, so you have to be able to put yourself in that position, because otherwise you don't see that. Yeah, I always, well, it's I think you guys even invented it with American football. You get the coach. Well, if you're a player on the field, you don't see everything because there are all these big guys standing in front of you. Yeah, so you don't see it. So then you have the coach. He sees a little bit better. But there's also in the top of the stadium, there's the guy with the microphone or whatever, and he's talking to the coach on the field and says, "Hey, there's room there, there's room there, there's room there. That's where you need to go." That is the guy who's sitting up in the stadium. He is the complete picture.
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, if he would be a player on the field, he would not have that picture. So he must be in that position. Otherwise, he cannot see it. Otherwise, he will just face the same problems like that. Yeah. So the metaphor is like being a helicopter or being that guy in the top of the stadium who sees everything, because it's like, hey guys, hey dudes, there's space. Why nobody doing that? Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't have the ability to zoom in and zoom out.
Yeah.
They get caught in the details too much, and it's a very rare ability, and also requires a lot of awareness, which is lacking in most.
But maybe I'm persisting again, but I have the feeling, especially for young people, they don't care about blog posts, long or short blog posts, podcasts, video, books. So maybe they need something practical for this journalism learning, or I don't know how to call it, but that's why I have this feeling that there is something maybe to do, not now, but keep in mind, because there is something maybe. So that's my feeling.
No, well, you got to make it attractive, and you got to make it fun, and then people start to engage with it. Yeah, if it's all like read these 5 books and then talk with 3 people, then yeah. So I think it's more in the assignments where you create the fun. That you put certain assignments or well, basically maybe it's even a mini version of what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, a quick note before it flies out. I got invited to speak here locally too, and David's not gonna know this. At La Feria del Libro, which is called I don't know how you call it in English, but anyway, it's like this conference about books. So they asked me if I could, give a speech basically to people from I don't know, maybe 12 up to 18, 19, 20 years old, basically on curiosity. So, or basically I created the topic. They just told me, just tell them something interesting, having to do with reading books. So this is at the end of June. We could use it as a soft launch. Where I can actually pitch, because I'm immediately thinking, how can we put this into play immediately? Because we already have the idea. We just got to figure out the real details beneath it, and then how do we put it into play immediately to do some testing, and then we'll start knowing more stuff, and then maybe I can use the 22nd as a soft launch, because there's gonna be people there from the ages we're talking about. literally. And the topic is this. I mean, it has to do with that. I'm not saying generalist topic. I'm saying something a little more specific.
Yeah, of course.
That is excellent. And I think the main thing is around it. Yeah, we will find a good name or a good label. That will pop up, but it's not so important. The important thing is that you find something fun and useful and meaningful to do, like a project or an assignment or whatever, where people are like, oh wow, this is cool, we want to participate in that. Yeah. And that people become jealous about each other, is like, oh, I'm not part of that group, I want to be part of that group.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys do it, but I mean, how do you guys as journalists, you know, how do you I'm trying to get specifics, but for example, something that I do, and I actually wrote about it last year, is because people have asked me. I've never written it down before or thought about it. I just go with whatever I want to do. But basically, one of the tactics that I use is I pick and choose a topic every month and say I want to learn this month, and then I actually go and do it.
Yeah.
It's the simplest thing ever, right? But no, it's very hard for most others to do it. Yeah, I'm just thinking about specific things, you know, activities and things that we would ask people to do that would stimulate those behaviors and those activities for them to, you know, get themselves attract to a generalist mindset.
Yeah, that means, and I think I suggested that last week as well, that you get each month a different theme or so, yeah, and based upon that different theme, you have different assignments, yeah. Yeah, and the assignments, what I think is really critical, is that people need to go out there. Yeah, so it's not sitting behind the screen. It's like, okay, go to talk to a beekeeper. Yeah, and how does that work? Or go to a zoo and
suppose you're a monkey.
The theme can be I forget that name. What's the name? The
outdoor activity.
No. Jorge, what's the name of that lady who takes things out of nature and then she makes buildings and apartments and everything? Biomimicry.
Yeah, biomimicry.
Yeah, biomimicry. Yeah. So, which is an extremely interesting topic, for instance. Yeah. So you could say that is a topic for the month of July. But then you can send people to the zoo, yeah, or you can send people into a flower garden. You can send people into, like I said, the beekeeper, whatever, and then say, hey, look at it. What does it mean for an office building? What does it mean for where you live? What does it mean for sustainability? Yeah, and that's fun, because then it's fun, because we notice also in other projects that people really like to get out. They like to do work together. And not only sitting a whole day behind a keyboard and a screen. So, and if you get that kind of an approach, then it becomes really fun, and at the same time you learn so much.
Yeah. Explore and then come back with your own insights that you share in your network.
Yeah, but I mean, even because the young guys, you can give them questions or whatever. Yeah, so like these open-ended questions and say, hey, how can you apply this in other areas? Which areas? Yeah, all these things. Yeah. David, what do you think? Are you still there, or?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we are getting somewhere. Yeah, I kind of like that idea of doing like a maybe change the topic every month. I think that could be fun. That could be something different. Yeah, I think again. I mean, I think we should start just to maybe just narrow it down and maybe start focusing on what exactly what we trying to do. Like again, as simple as, is it going to be a workshop, is it going to be a talk, is it going to be a book, is it going to be an online platform, and from there we can start to build this, because I think right now we have, I think we have accomplished and sharing a lot of ideas in the last 3-4 sessions. I don't feel like we're getting somewhere in specific. I think it's still a little bit dispersed and kind of thing. So I think we just need to start to narrow it down, and so we can start really and actually building something. So I kind of like that thing about themes per month. I think it'll be fun. I think that we can build something, and maybe we just need to start doing like, okay, so is it going to be a workshop? We're going to have a, we're going to select the kids. Is it going to be open for everyone? Are we going to charge for it? Who's going to give the talks? How many hours are going to be? I mean, so all those things that we need to start to develop. So that's my idea.
Yeah, I think a key aspect is like you really get to apply the knowledge by being, well, being a kind of investigator, being a kind of detective, being a kind of researcher, but out there in the field. So that's why I say you need to give field trips, that people need to move away from inside. They need to go outside, maybe interview people, observe things and whatever, because then yeah, we don't want to create all these academic, scientific kind of generalists. We want to have people who are able to apply things in real life. So that is why I think is really crucial, and that is where people are really what we have heard, Rotan and myself, from other folks, is that these young people, they love to go out in the woods or whatever, because that's not what they normally do. So yeah, normally they stay inside. Yeah, parents have problems by kicking their children out, go out and play. Yeah, so yeah, when I was young, yeah, I always played hockey in the garden. Yeah, field hockey. Yeah. That's how I became very good, because every 3 minutes I was hitting the ball against the garage door. So, but that is somehow lost. So I think these field trips are really important, because then you see it, not only the knowledge part, but also how you apply it in daily life and how you see it. And part of being a generalist, whatever, is that you're also able to observe, that you're able to communicate with many different people. Yeah? From one point that you can talk to a professor, another point you can talk to a zookeeper, to a beekeeper, and another moment you can talk to a dancer or whatever. You should be able to communicate with all those people. So, and you can only learn that just by doing it. Yeah, not read a book about communicating with. No, do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand your point, but the thing is that skill that you mentioned, it's not on kids right now. So maybe the way you're saying it, it's like we are like selecting this specific kids or youth people to go to this and participate and learn these field trips, because those characteristics you mentioned are not in these kids, because they're not observers. They don't learn by themselves. They're already doing field trips at school. They're already receiving talks at school. So why they're not doing it? It's because they don't have that skill. So I think what you mentioned is very interesting, but those characteristics, those skills and abilities are not in these kids. So I mean, we can have a field trip, but they won't do what you're saying because they don't know how to, or they don't want to. That's the thing. So we can take them to a zoo and try them to observe, to talk to people, to talk to a mentor, but they're not doing it right now. So that's the thing, that they don't have those skills. So how are we going to do it to develop them?
Yeah, so how would you approach that?
That's the thing, what I'm trying to say. So what are we going to do? Because I mean, I understand your point, but the things that we're trying to develop the skills that you're saying. So for me, what you're saying will be like a final step after a series of workshops or something. That will be the final step. Because if you put this kid, like 12-year-old kid who's very antisocial, or maybe not antisocial, but I mean, someone is only on the online world, like Facebook, Twitter, stuff, and smartphone and everything. You put them in front of his adult who's, I don't know, like you said, like a beekeeper, a zookeeper, whatever. He's gonna talk. He's not gonna talk to him because he's gonna be afraid. He's gonna be shy. That's the characteristics of these young kids. So I think we should first develop the skills, and maybe at the end of the month we can finish with a field trip when they can apply what they learn. And of course, the previous workshop has to be actually a workshop inside. working, creating, developing those skills. So at the end, we can finish with a field trip.
Okay, okay. So what you say is you need to, well, help them with the learning and preparing them to do that. That's an integral part of the project. That's what you say.
Yeah, definitely, because they don't have those skills. They're not going to do it.
Okay, okay. That's a very good addition.
So in essence, David, you say that we could implement workshops or enable workshops for people to learn the skills of journalists or to be prepared for that, and then go outdoor with outdoor activities to explore the world and come back with insight and joining the dots. I am correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like mixing a specialist and a journalist approach, maybe, because they learn
always like that.
topic and then yeah.
I think I think I understand what you mean, but we should not get the hang up. It's like, is communication, is that a generalist or a specialist thing? Yeah, you get guys who studied communication, but I think communication is really generalist. But it's a semantic discussion. Yeah, it's the key thing is I really value what David is saying is that you need to help them learn and teach them to prepare them in order to do that in a successful way. And then, and I think that's a great suggestion, because then they're going to have much more fun on the field trips and they're going to have much more learning. And that also makes sure that they want to continue the next month.
Yeah.
Because if you go out on a field trip and you don't know what to do, or you're too shy or whatever, then you say, not for me.
Yeah.
Am I correct, David?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I put this in the Google Doc. Because yes, on this chat when we wrap up is vanishing, you know. So.
Yeah, that is the problem with our friends of Google.
Yeah, but the Hangout is recorded, so no sweat. Okay, I took some notes, but I think.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
I would like to share an interesting case of a guy that I met last year. That we might get some good ideas of how to engage with people. He has his own business, right? So one of his businesses is a dance school to teach people how to dance, but not like in a professional way, just like a social dance kind of thing, like salsa and stuff like that, right? So he started that way. He started to be very successful because he noticed that a lot of people wanted to go to a wedding, to a reunion, to whatever, but they don't know how to dance. So him by teaching them how to dance, they can interact in a more social way. So he started seeing this developing in social skills and even self-esteem, because there were a lot of people who were feeling down, who went to take the classes, and in starting to socialize, they started feeling better. And even people like companies, they started to hire him to give this dance lessons in the government. He gave an example of the government, and to improve the self-esteem and environment and everything, right? So my point is that one of the models that he has, that he started with students and teaching them how to dance, and they go through these lessons. So by the end of the lessons, they graduated, and after that, he gave them like a scholarship so they can continue doing the lessons. So he hired them as a teacher. So what I'm trying to say is that maybe we can do something like about this model, and maybe have the kids going through the process, and if they liked it, maybe they can join the next month and be like the volunteer, you know. So that way we can have this full circle and start spreading the word. Like, yeah, next month if you liked it, you need to invite someone, and you can be his, I don't know, his friend who's gonna be with them the whole process. For example, this guy at his dance school, what he did is that he didn't hire teachers, because he built his own teachers. Because by the end of the year, when these people graduated, he hired them as teachers. We didn't spend any money on teachers because they were part of the scholarship that he had. So I think that would be a good example of something that we can do to engage people and so they can continue on the whole process and start dividing people and spreading the word.
Well, I like the idea of making as soon as possible these young kids their own teachers, because that helps in their learning process, and at the same time it helps us in scaling it. Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that's a very good idea.
Yeah, we discussed that in previous hangouts, but I think it's good to resurface this. So I put in the Google Doc again too. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Yeah, and also because I think it's going to be better if let's say, I don't know, like a 15-year-old boy tells another 15-year-old boy, like, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
These lessons are cool. You should go. Instead of
Mm.
me, a 28-year-old guy, said, hey, you should go to this. So I think
Yeah.
the approach is different and the feeling is different. So I think that will be good.
Yeah, it's about love. If we can create a kind of love platform where people just with word of mouth, but because they love it, they will share naturally this. Because they had fun, they love what they are doing, and they have results too. So then they would like to do or to become facilitators or coach or teachers, as you say. Yeah.
Okay, so now we got the sketches of something which sounds to get really good and exciting.
Mm.
But I still want to discuss now around what could be the business model. How we, because how are we going to earn some money with this? Yeah, or at least make it financially a viable exercise rather than something which you do in your spare time, which is not going to work.
Mm.
So who would be willing to pay for these activities? The parents? Well, the children don't have any money, so it should be the parents, right? Or the schools, or
Yeah.
but the schools don't have much budget. They're very tight on the budget, so most of the time, I think the real thing is, well, you know, these parents, well, I don't know. What I see with the children here, they spend so much money on all kinds of out-of-school activities, whether it's football or hockey or volleyball. There's all kinds of sports, but also music lessons, also all kinds of classes. It's incredible where all these kids are. So they must be spending a fortune on this. So it's like, well, maybe regroup that amount of money, which is going to a lot of different things which are not all too useful, and say, hey, why don't you spend your money on these things, because this helps your kid to prepare for the 21st century.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think at the same time there are also a lot of parents who are coming to understand that current education of the kids is not good. Yeah, the number of kids who are being homeschooled is growing exponentially worldwide. Yeah, and people are so much dissatisfied with the current system that the parents are putting in much more effort than they used to do 20, 30 years ago. So it is something which the parents are seeing. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that the parents, for them, it's something like, okay, hey, I would like to spend some of the money where they normally would go to whatever piano lessons, and now go to this because this is useful for the future of my kid.
Mm.
And then again, that and then you get something which is working because the parents are convinced about it. Then they will make sure the kids are going. At the same time, they will talk to other parents about it. Yeah, and then you also get this cycle going. And well, they get the money because everybody, well, most people want to have the best for their kids, right?
Yeah. So I have an idea. Maybe. Well, first, I think we need to really understand what the value is gonna be. I mean, I think we understand why we're doing this, but we need to translate it in a way that the parents understand why is it valuable, why it's valuable spending this kind of money in this extra curricular thing besides school. Because I mean, at the end, it's gonna be money the issue. Because they might feel like, yeah, it's a great project, it's a great program and everything, but it's gonna cost me money. So we need to translate it in a way that they can understand the importance of it. And it's gonna be like an investment, not like a spend, like cost. Yeah, I don't know, an idea that I might have, which is translated into money, is like maybe charge, I don't know, maybe like per week, maybe charge them for a down payment. And if the kid finishes the whole program, we can give back the down payment. That way we can make sure that the kid is going to finish the whole process. And that the parent is going to say like, hey, you better go to that program, kid, because I want my money back. So that will be, yeah, so let's say that we are asked for a down payment of X amount of money. So if the kid finishes the whole program, we can give the money back to the parent. So he can make sure that the kid is going to show to every class. Because I mean, I have seen it with my niece. She has been in dance lessons, swimming lessons, guitar lessons, and everything. And my sister always pays for the month. But if my niece says, I don't want to go, so she doesn't go. Because she already spent money. She's like, okay. But if we kind of put this hook of, yeah, we're going to give you the money back, but your kid needs to finish the whole thing. So that might be like something for us to have the kid to the whole process. And the parents are going to be like, okay, I'm investing money and then giving some money back. So I don't know. We try something like that.
Yeah, pay as you go. Yeah. Yeah, everyone have different needs and context, so someone maybe prefer to just have 1 week or many weeks or 1 day. So yeah, we need to adapt that, I think. Is it the idea, Jorge? Or
But why not have the model of what they have in sports schools? Yeah, but where you in the fitness schools, sports schools, where you have to normally you have to do quite some kind of, I think they call it entrance money, yeah, and then you have a certain money for going each month, but the most money these guys are making is from this entrance money, because if you don't show up after 2 or 3 times, they don't care because you already paid the most of the money, yeah. So, yeah, but
Pepe, just got a message from Pepe. He's still at that meeting.
okay.
you still what?
At the meeting.
Oh, okay.
No word of what time he'll be.
Oh, okay.
So can you share more, Jorge, on what you just typed in the chat?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, as I was hearing, sorry, I have to take a call. As I was hearing David explain, he was talking about specific steps. So the immediate thing that I thought was a pay-as-you-go model, because it's like building muscles. Like if you go to the gym, I mean, there's different. I mean, we could play with different models. Say somebody's gonna want the pay-as-you-go model. Somebody's want to pay the full year, for a training partner. I mean, if you want to see it like that, and I'm using the gym membership metaphor or the gym training metaphor. I mean, it really is how do we test it? And the first thing that came to my mind is how do you, Arnold? What's that website you got your course on?
Udemy.
Udemy.
Yeah.
I think that's a good platform to start testing some stuff, at least content-wise. Content-wise. I mean, we could also use YouTube. We could also, I mean, there's a bunch of options, but I think the bottom line is that how do you figure out what model people will want to follow, and it also benefits us, and in an financial aspect.
Yeah, but we even could, if we work at that, we could even create a crowdfunding campaign, because that's also what people are using as a testing facility.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we can put it on Kickstarter and Indiegogo and say, hey, this is the idea. We need whatever. We need 50K to get started, or something like that. Yeah. And if you do it in the right way, you will get a lot of audience and you will get a lot of attention. That's what people are using. People are using it more as a marketing testing rather than really getting money or whatever. It's more like sensing the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we should even discuss whether it's going to be a something which you do in real life or you do online. I think it would be the combination which makes it extremely powerful, because if you do online and you give assignments, which means the assignments mean that you have to go out, and then that makes it fun, and then you have the combination. And by doing it online, well, you can do it much cheaper than if you have to rent a room and a place and whatever, all that shit. So, but if you do it online, it's much easier, and we can attract people. Well, and again, then otherwise it would only be for use in big cities. But if you, well, there are many young people we know, well, we discussed in rural areas or even in cities like where I live, who could not participate then. But if you have the main mechanism to have an online platform where you do this on, and at the same time you give them assignments to go out. I just shared this week, I don't know, with Jorge and John, but it was one of the MOOCs which I did around creativity with what's that lady of that innovation model which we're using in that Stanford marketing lady. Well, it doesn't matter.
Tina Seelig.
Yeah, Tina Seelig, yeah. So I followed that. It was a MOOC around creativity, but the real fun part is that you had to collaborate with people all over the world, but they were assignments that you had to get out, that you had to interview people, that I had to go do observations of retail shops, of things where I use all my senses. What do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? And what do I notice? Not like I go there to buy something. No, I just walk there and I observe everything. That was such a fun activity. Yeah. So, and although it was just a MOOC, I had to get out and do these things. And when you come back and then you discuss it with each other, that's fun. Yeah. So it's that combination which makes it attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes it accessible to anyone, and also children from not so big cities who can participate then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, with online is the idea that you can join a community where you can learn with, as I put in the document, Tinkerers or even us, for learning together, sharing what you have noticed or explore the dots that you can connect. Because sometimes in face-to-face events you don't have this. Just finish this, as Pepe shared last time. Just finish training or workshop, and then it's Monday, and you vanish what you can apply, what you learn, or what you can share with others. And I think we can also provide a platform online for that, meaning this relationship building and this peer learning that is everywhere. But maybe the approach that we will have, which will be different. So again, yes.
May I suggest that in order to, well, I don't think we need to do it now, but I think it will help us tremendously that assume that we are going to do a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign, and that we take the most successful ones, which have been Scanadu, and what was the one who just went for the second or third time with the highest result, that we take them as examples and say, okay, assume that we have to do a campaign. What are the items which we need to address? Because there's a lot of things which we haven't addressed yet. Yeah. But that helps us, okay, to be very specific, because if we build a campaign around it, then it becomes easy to, even whether we're going to do it actually or whether we use it to sell it to the parents, we know that we have answered every question. I already know the guy from the Pebble Watch. The Pebble Watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, for instance, if we take those campaigns, yeah, because they were the most successful, say, hey, what did these guys do? Yeah, and then follow that same approach format and say, okay, so that's what we need to work on.
Well, I think it's different because I mean our product is something different. I'm still a little bit not sure about the online thing. I don't know. I think we could and we need to validate it because I don't know.
We need to what?
Yeah, I think we need to validate it, the online platform. I do understand the thing that it could be, I don't know, used for more people. It can be used to, I don't know, stuff like that. But I mean, just I don't know if it's what's gonna make us different from the other courses that are already there. Just because we're gonna add field trips, gonna want to make sure they're gonna do it. What's it gonna be different from I don't know, use a YouTube video, or the parents they're gonna be willing to pay for an online platform? What if they want to then kids to go outside and then stay in the computer all day? I don't know. So I think we could still validate that idea. Maybe start maybe live with a small group, and if it works, then we can maybe escalate it to an online platform. Yeah, so yeah, try to see how it could work because I don't know. I don't know about the online platform. I don't know. I do understand why it could be an online platform, but I don't know if that is the way we need to do it. And I don't know how willing the kids are gonna be in order to stay there, to go in the computer and really follow the course. I mean, if it's gonna be at school, it's gonna be like, I'm not gonna do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. The parents are gonna be willing to pay for an online platform. I mean, because I mean, I understand like everything is there, but the parents were the ones who are gonna be paying. They don't know. They don't use this platform. So I don't know. I think we still need to validate that.
Sure, but to me it's about mixing both because it's practical. You know, if you have kids from around the world, of course they will go outside, explore the world, and notice everything, and then come back with their own insight. But then the next step is to sharing with others. That's how you learn maybe better and faster, and it's more meaningful, you know. And again, if you would like to connect with a kid in Africa, in France, or in Amsterdam, I don't know. It's nice and it's fun. That's the part. And again, we can be where they are. If they don't use, of course, Hangout or Skype or whatever you want, we won't be there. Sure, we won't spend time and energy and resources to create a platform where they are not there. That's my thoughts. That's the community or the relationship that is missing sometimes with only activities, outdoor activities, you know? Because they keep that for themselves and they will share that with us through email. I think not so good. You see what I'm trying to say?
No, not really.
Okay. What I'm saying is that if we focus only on outdoor activities or workshops in real life, how you will, because we would like to create something with peer learning, how do you include that only on face-to-face event, you know?
Yeah, well, it's a valid point, but I think that the peer learning is also what you do is you work together on a kind of assignment. If you work together on a project, that is really peer learning, because then you learn from and with each other.
Yeah, but what about us? What our role in this? Because okay, kids can do their own things together with other kids, and that's truly peer learning when face to face. But us, we are also here maybe as an enabler of facilitators or learning with them too, you know. So how we include that too in this project? That's my thought, and I think online can be a way, offline too, but online as we are in different part of the world and we cannot be there in one cities or one room, we could create a space or platform, whatever you want, for them and for us too. But I agree, we need to start maybe somewhere, and it can be offline first.
Yeah, well, I think we just, like Jorge just said, we have to work out and say, like, for instance, maybe there's 3 or 4 alternatives or scenarios or whatever. Yeah, say we have one which is only in real life. We have one which is combined. We only have one which is online. We have somewhere where people are there, and just, I think if we just start working them out in detail, then you will get to know what the hiccups and the problems and the challenges are. Yeah, and now we can have a philosophic discussion around which one is better. But I think you will only notice when that's why I say let's try and build a very, very attractive campaign. Yeah, and if we are working on it and we're like, this is not going to work or it's not exciting, then we know we're not on the right track.
No.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think it's we have to ultimately end up with one campaign which is so attractive that everybody says it is like, where can we sign up? Yeah, yeah, and that hundreds of thousands of people are signing up, because that's the sign that your campaign is good.
Yeah, that's how.
And
we
if
test
nobody
our
signs up, then it's a shitty idea. So simple it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they're not you.
it's where more and more people are using that, like I said, for marketing purposes, and it's very good because you get access to potential customers, prospects all over the world. Yeah, and it forces us to do our homework. Yeah, and so I'm just like, just work out a couple of scenarios, and then apply it to create some cases or whatever, and say which one works out best.
And also one thing about the campaign or whatever, I think the only thing is we only have one shot using like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something, and something that adds a lot of value is if you have already done it like live, like offline. So if we say like, okay, you know what, we have already done it, we have 3 groups, we've already graduated, and now we would like to go online through this campaign. I think that would be a stronger campaign even. Instead of just going online and say like, you know what, we have this idea to do this platform, we need your money. But if we tell them, you know what, we have already done it offline, and now we would like to spread it to the rest of the world through an online platform, and that's why we are asking for money as crowdfunding. So I think that could be, and we can validate it all
very valid point. It's an excellent suggestion. Yeah, because otherwise it will just be a kind of a PowerPoint idea, but that's where you prove and say, hey, it's already working, and then you already can, and maybe you can create a video with already some responses. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and record, of course, the whole process, the kids, and say like, you know what, we have already done it, and these are the results, and now we would like just to spread the word to the rest of the world through an online platform, and that's why we're going to Kickstarter or Indiegogo.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
So, but then the question is, where are we going to start those pilots? I think it will likely be in Tijuana then, because at least you're with 2 or 3 of you guys, and maybe you can get Romina or Romana, whatever, involved, whatever. Yeah. Because that makes it.
Well, I think we need to define the methodology and the whole process first, and then we can say who wants to launch it. So we need to develop the whole program.
So now we got to build a pilot.
Yeah. So we need to build that first. We say we're gonna have these lessons. We're gonna end with this field trip. This is how much we're gonna charge, or maybe the first one's gonna be without charge, just to test it, and then we can see. Maybe we could start in Tijuana because I mean we have Pepe, Jorge, Romina, and I here. or maybe Rotana can do another pilot there. We can use 3 pilots in different parts of the world. That would be also something very, very, very strong. Also, so you know what? We launch a pilot in here and here and here, and it has been successful. And it doesn't have to be a big pilot. It can be a small pilot with a small group of kids, and see how it works. And then we can launch the second one. And after that, we can just start preparing the Kickstarter or Indiegogo campaign.
Yeah, very good suggestion. Okay. So, are you willing to, David, to sketch the outline of the pilot?
The what? I'm sorry.
Are you willing to work on the outline of the pilot?
Like to see how many lessons and everything?
Yeah, something like that. How does it look like? Assume that there's going to be a pilot in Tijuana, whatever, it doesn't matter, yeah?
Okay.
What are you going to do? How does it look like?
Well, I will go to and select a small group, probably like 10, 15 kids. I think we need to select the ages, like, because it's not the same having a 12-year-old kid and having a 15-year-old kid or a 17-year-old kid. So I think we need to determine what age are we gonna be focusing with. Do we 12 to 15 or what age we need to, and that way we can prepare the topics for that specific group. So I think we need to start the pilot with one specific age group.
Yeah, but what I'm asking you is just work out a layout of the pilot, and if there are questions which you don't, put a question mark, and then we can have in our next chat and say, okay, now we can help, or in the meantime we can work on the details together. But somebody needs to get started.
All right, yeah, I can do that.
Just look like in your terms, like how would an ideal pilot, because you're working with these kids, you're talking with these kids on a day-to-day basis. I'm not. Yeah. So just see, look, it's ideal from David's perspective, and that's fine for the moment. Yeah, and then we have something to discuss next time.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we can adapt.
Yeah.
So I put the main ideas in the Google Doc. Feel free to modify everything or just comment on whatever you want. But good idea. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, and if you put it somewhere in a Google Doc and share that with us, or in that same document, David, then we can I want you to take the lead, and then we can add and change, and then the question marks and blah blah blah, because then we're getting somewhere. Because I want to get into, well, becoming something which you actually start doing rather than talking. So now we should move into action and say, hey, how can we do this? And then you just have to get started somewhere. Yeah. So it just put a mark and say, this is it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I will use the same document that we're using.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Anything else? Because I think that then now we have a strategy, we have an approach, we get how to do it, because now we can channel our efforts. I think that feels really good. Is there anything else we need to discuss at this point in time, Jorge?
No. From my side, I'll sketch out some scenarios and I'll share that before our next call.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that'll also expand David's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for myself, I will see how it can work too in France. I will also share ideas. Yeah. I'm not working with kids these days, but I can figure out this too. Yeah, and share this with you.
Now we're gonna have a reason to go to France.
Yeah. For wine, Monaco, is nice French, So yeah. And the thing is also on language. So we have to figure out on if it will be in French or not. But yeah, it's different.
Okay.
No, those are valid remarks. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like for you in Spanish, is it the same thing with Mexico? You have to adapt maybe, yeah, your own language. But yeah, when you have to approach and have people, it's okay. You can adapt. Let's start in English.
Well,
Okay, very good. So shall we schedule then for the same time next week?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
It's
means
my
Jorge has
agenda.
done the scenarios, David has done his workout, we have done some checking around it. Yeah, then we can, well, make some distance, as we say in Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can suggest you to watch the documentary. I posted a trailer link on the document. It's
Okay.
a very interesting documentary. So
Thanks.
hopefully you can see it. And it's already on YouTube, so you can look at it.
Why is it? It's in the end of the document or? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes,
so
all the,
something at the end.
Yeah.
yeah, all the way at the end is a trailer, so you can see on YouTube a trailer, and in YouTube you will see the link to see the whole documentary.
Okay.
Actually,
thanks.
it's made by a French guy, Michel Gondry, the director.
Ah.
Is French.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we're done then, or not, guys?
Yeah. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, well, I think it was a productive call, so thank you very much.
Yeah,
And really looking forward to our progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'll set up the next call.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.